Do you think that multi-immigration incentives are achieving their purposes? Is the UK functioning well with all the different ethnicities? I think that's a very nuanced question, but sadly, nuance is something that we don't see much of in public discourse. You're supposed to be all for something or all against it. Where I live in central London, it's a beautifully harmonious melting pot, which is glorious to behold and to be a part of. Every time I step out my door, I love the diversity. But in more deprived parts of the country, or even the city itself, it's not quite so harmonious. I think there are so many positive incentives for immigration. I've lived in many different countries and I moved here to the UK as an immigrant. But I think the fact that we're not allowed to talk about the negatives has been very damaging to the UK, to our cohesion, and to immigrants themselves. We all know the positive incentives of bringing in talent to this country that benefits us all. But what are the incentives for bringing in criminals, many of whom are not wanted in their own countries? I've heard one theory that these people are cannon fodder in the event of a war because our governments know that our own citizens will not support war anymore. And there's also the question of declining birth rates and the need to replace those people with an ever-aging population. And I think we can all see what's not working well is the inability to deal appropriately with crimes committed by migrants. I think Britain's two-tier policy in this area is just as damaging to immigrants as it is to everybody else. And it's the catalyst that's going to push the majority of the UK to the right, like what's happened in the US and is happening across most of Europe right now. And it'll be really interesting to see how our government deals with this, because in Europe, I can't remember which nation it is. Let me know in the comments if you know. They decided to disregard their election results and scrap the whole thing because they didn't like the outcome. It was a right-wing party, obviously, that one.